will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days. So
those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
The buzz surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has reached a fever pitch.
Y'all won't believe what's happening with Sean Diddy Combs right now. The entertainment world is absolutely buzzing with the most shocking twist in his ongoing saga. Word on the street is that the music mogul might actually walk free soon. Can you believe it? Just when we thought this scandal couldn't get any more dramatic, here we are, watching what could be the most unexpected turn of events in recent entertainment history. The internet is practically exploding with insider tea, and let me tell you, what's happening behind those closed doors is absolutely mind-blowing.
We're monitoring another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
Now, here's the juicy part that has everyone talking. Diddy's legal dream team apparently found what they're calling a massive flaw in the FBI's case. And honey, it's not just any flaw. We're talking about a potential game changer. The tea is scalding hot on this one because it involves what his lawyers are calling a totally outrageous raid on his jail cell. But wait, it gets even better. These federal agents supposedly grabbed materials that were supposed to be completely off limits. You know, those sacred attorney-client privilege documents? The plot thickens because Diddy's lawyers are absolutely fuming, claiming this wasn't just some innocent mistake. They're convinced it was a calculated move to destroy his defense. And darling, hold on to your seats because there's more. Apparently, there was this super secret meeting on the morning of day 2 of the raid, with all these high-powered federal officials from the Southern District of New York. The tea is that these prosecutors specifically ordered the search of Diddy's cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His legal team is spilling all the tea, saying this wasn't about keeping the prison safe at all. Oh no, honey, they're claiming this was a desperate fishing expedition to build their case against him. But that's not even the most shocking part. Diddy's attorneys are now dropping bombs, saying investigators were actually eavesdropping on his private legal conversations. Can you imagine the audacity? If this tea turns out to be true, darling, it could absolutely demolish the prosecution's case.
Called this afternoon at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
But wait, because this story just got even more scandalous. The whispers around town are saying that Diddy's got something major planned if he gets out, and trust me, it's not what anyone would expect. Some insiders are spilling that he might actually try to pull a disappearing act if he gets bail. I know, it sounds completely wild, but in this crazy saga, anything seems possible. Social media is absolutely losing it, with everyone playing detective and guessing where he might go. Some are saying he could jet off to some exotic island paradise, while others think he might vanish into thin air using his massive fortune and connections. Of course, these are just rumors, but they're adding such delicious drama to an already explosive story. Meanwhile, his legal team is working overtime, pulling every trick in the book to get him out. They've filed this dramatic motion about the Metropolitan Detention Center, calling it absolutely horrific. And honestly, the details about this place are giving me chills. It's apparently so overcrowded and understaffed that former inmates are calling it hell on earth. His lawyers are painting this vivid picture of violence and neglect, arguing that keeping someone like Diddy there is basically torture.
And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
And now, darlings, let's talk about how Diddy's legal team is trying to completely make over his public image. They're working overtime to remind everyone that this isn't just any celebrity. This is the man who practically built an empire from scratch. They're painting this picture of Diddy as this incredible music icon, philanthropist, and self-made success story. It's like they're trying to say, look at all the good he's done, instead of focusing on those shocking allegations we've been hearing about. But here's the thing, not everyone's buying what they're selling. Critics are rolling their eyes, saying all these legal troubles are nobody's fault but his own. They're calling out his team's attempts to blame the feds as nothing but smoke and mirrors. Although I have to say, even some of Diddy's biggest critics are raising their eyebrows at these claims about federal agents breaking the rules. I mean, if they really did bend the law to get their man, what does that tell us about justice in America?
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Darling, let me tell you, this drama is far from over. Even if Diddy manages to walk out those prison doors, he's still got a mountain of legal battles ahead. We're talking multiple lawsuits and what's bound to be one of the most jaw-dropping trials we've ever seen. The burning questions on everyone's mind right now are, will he actually get released? And if he does, what happens next? Will he stay and fight these charges head-on, or will he really try to vanish into thin air? I mean, nothing about this case has been predictable so far. Could this be the beginning of the most incredible comeback story in music history? Or are we about to witness an even bigger scandal? You know what they say, truth is stranger than fiction, and honey, this story is definitely proving that point. The drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs is absolutely mind-blowing, and his potential release from prison is just the tip of this scandalous iceberg. These allegations against him aren't just shocking, they're completely earth-shattering, especially when you think about how his glamorous public image might have been hiding some seriously troubling behavior all these years. Let me take you back to where this whole mess started, because trust me, it's a wild ride. Everything exploded back in November 2023 when Cassie Ventura, you know, his girlfriend of over 10 years, dropped this absolutely explosive lawsuit that had everyone's jaws on the floor. The details she shared were beyond disturbing, talking about years of physical and emotional abuse. But what really sent shockwaves through Hollywood were her allegations about these so-called pride events that Diddy supposedly organized. The things she described were so disturbing, I can barely even repeat them.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
And hold on to your seats, because it gets even crazier. Remember that story about Kid Cudi's car? According to Cassie, Diddy completely lost it when he found out Cudi was interested in her. The story goes that he had Cudi's car destroyed as some kind of twisted warning message. Can you imagine? Talk about taking things to a whole new level of crazy. Even though Diddy denied everything, that case was settled faster than you can say scandal, which honestly just made people wonder what else he might be hiding. But darling, that was just the beginning. What happened next was like watching dominoes fall, one after another. More women started coming forward with their own stories, and let me tell you, the pattern they described was chilling. First, there was this college student from way back in 1991 who claimed Diddy recorded their encounter without her knowing and then shared it around. Then, another woman came forward anonymously with a similar story. It was like deja vu.
A woman is accusing Sean Diddy Combs of and her when she was 16 years old in 2000.
And just when we thought the allegations couldn't get more serious, December 2023 hit us with even more shocking revelations. A woman who went by Jane Doe came forward with claims that absolutely sent shivers down everyone's spine. She described being manipulated when she was underage, saying she was given substances that left her memory hazy. It was heartbreaking to hear her story, and it added yet another dark chapter to this unfolding drama. The accusations kept coming like a tidal wave. An adult film star stepped forward next, sharing her own disturbing experiences at Diddy's lavish parties. She claimed she was lured there under false pretenses, only to find herself in situations she never agreed to. These stories were coming out so fast, it was like watching Diddy's carefully built empire crumbling before our very eyes. Then, February 2024 brought us another bombshell. Rodney Jones Jr., who'd worked with Diddy on his latest album, came forward with allegations that had everyone talking. His claims were different but equally disturbing, describing unwanted advances and attempts at grooming. Of course, Diddy's lawyers dismissed it all as fiction, but Jones stood firm, saying he needed to expose the truth. This was huge because now it wasn't just women coming forward. The allegations were coming from all directions.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
As these lawsuits mounted, Diddy's defense team...
Just when things couldn't get more dramatic, May 2024 hit us with something that left everyone speechless. CCTV footage from 2016 surfaced, showing this absolutely horrifying incident between Diddy and Cassie at a Los Angeles hotel. The footage was grainy, but what it showed was unmistakable. Diddy shoving Cassie to the ground and actually kicking her while she was down. The public was absolutely outraged. Diddy tried to do damage control, releasing this statement saying he was disgusted with himself and calling it a low point in his life. But darling, the damage was already done. This footage seemed to confirm everything Cassie had been saying, and people were furious. By summer 2024, the situation was completely out of control. Crystal McKenney, a former model and actress, came forward with graphic allegations about what happened in a New York City recording studio. And then, as if that wasn't enough, Dawn Richard from Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money shared her own disturbing experiences, talking about verbal abuse, overwork, and unwanted advances during her time working with him.
But like I said, the entertainment industry is very, very, very messed up when it comes to, the bigger you get, the more you had to do to get there. And so if you're not willing to put yourself in that position, you kind of have to put your foot down. And so I didn't.
September 2024 brought the biggest shock of all, the grand jury indictment. After months of investigations, federal prosecutors laid out their case, and let me tell you, it was explosive. They described this elaborate system where Diddy allegedly used his power and money to manipulate and control people. The details were absolutely shocking. We're talking coercion, bribery, and even trying to buy people's silence. When they denied his bail, everyone knew this was serious. But darling, his legal team hasn't given up. They're still pushing this narrative about him being this wonderful family man and philanthropist who's just being targeted for his success. They even filed this massive $50 million defamation lawsuit against one of the witnesses, Courtney Burgess, and her lawyer, claiming they made up wild stories about recordings involving Diddy and other celebrities.
Diddy is now suing. So according to our friends over at Us Magazine, Diddy, who remains in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center while he awaits trial. Us Weekly writes this. It says Sean Diddy Combs has filed a defamation lawsuit against one of his accusers, their attorney, and News Nation.
The stakes couldn't be higher right now. We're talking about the possibility of life in prison if he's found guilty. His legal team is throwing everything they've got at this case, questioning evidence, attacking the credibility of his accusers, and trying desperately to salvage what's left of his reputation. Whether he can clear his name remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure. This has become one of the biggest entertainment scandals we've ever witnessed.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily so, I guess, right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
So here we are, darlings, watching this incredible saga unfold. Can his legal team really poke enough holes in the case to get him out? And if they do, will he really try to flee the country? Or will he stay and fight to clear his name? The debate is far from over and everyone's got an opinion. Make sure to share your thoughts below because this conversation is just getting started. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled for more updates on this absolutely wild story. This has been the most shocking, jaw-dropping scandal in recent memory, and something tells me we haven't seen anything yet. Stay tuned because this story is far from over.